What's up, Droners? B here with Droner Tech. Y'all already knew that, but what you didn't know and what you're gonna learn is every time we talk about FPV, we're gonna be here with a special guest, Night Flyer, Doc, David, the homie, because something big's going on. David, what's going on?
I don't know, FPV and DJI going at it again and doing their thing.
Bruh, it's about to get real, so let's just get into it. It seems like DJI is like, yo, hold my rotor. Like, this is about to get absolutely real right now. And if you've been paying attention to the enter of nets as of late, you'll see that there's been some things leaked that look a little bit like this. You know what I'm saying? You come over here, bro. Get over here. There we go. Like, a little bit like this. And what I'm really trying to say is, like, what are we looking at when we're looking at these pictures? I'm excited, but should I be?
We're all still kind of in the dark right now, to be honest. If people have the systems, of course they're under NDAs and can't talk about it. We just spoke about how DJI has released stuff that wasn't exactly what we needed as FPV pilots, but this looks like an interesting new direction, but also there's a lot of questions on how it's happening. Are they discontinuing what we're using right now and it's taking the place, but they're only selling it as a bundle together? There's still so many questions that we have, but we're gonna go over all of the different aspects of it and try to make our best educated guess, and we'll see in just a month or so. I think it's coming out at the beginning of January.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we're filming this in December, and I'm really curious because, first of all, DJI has a history of leaked photos. That's kind of just what they do. It's like there's something new's coming out, there's always like, and there's a leak. It's like, is it really a leak? Is it really? Like, it's kind of like putting everybody on notice because it's like, yo, everybody get ready and get your wallets ready because it's about to go down. And you're right. This has raised a lot of questions in the drone community, and I think you're one of the best people to answer some of those questions or answer what you think or what your speculation is, because what we're looking at is a drone that looks like it has a fixed camera on it that looks like it's about the same size as an average FPV, like, I don't know, maybe like a 5-inch, you think?
I think they did confirm that it is 5-inch props.
Right.
And I think it's a 6-cell battery too, which, I mean, that's a great move.
Yeah.
But the camera, doesn't look like it's fixed. It looks like it's a multi-angle.
No, but I'm saying in the sense of it's not like it's a GoPro that you can just switch out the GoPro. It's like you get the camera on this, and that camera is not like what we're used to. It's like right now we have our camera system that we fly through, and then we also have the GoPro on top of it that we record through. But it looks like we have one of the same with this.
Well, that's a big question for me. If that's the case, and this is what is capturing the HD footage too, what's caused some problems in the past with that is the latency that it adds on when you do that. So I'm really interested to fly one myself and push the limits, because I do see that it said 4K 60 frames per second. So
I mean, that's the industry standard for like for what we're looking at, because you got to get to the 60 to make it so that it feels smooth and natural, which is a lesson I learned from you.
Yeah, and
the hard
slow
way.
it down when you need to also, and take full advantage of the video that you're capturing. But I don't know, with the pictures that we showed you, there's sensors on there too.
Yep.
So it looks like it's blending the line of obstacle avoidance with this also. So
which is really weird because that raises a lot of questions for me. Yep. I mean, the first question would be like what FPV stuff is known for doing right now is versatility and flexibility. It's like right now with an FPV system, if you're a guy like Doc, you can literally take a frame, build it to whatever kind of spec you want, change the settings in the rotors to be able to give you the specific type of flight you want, and have full control in the acro mode, as you call it, so that you can actually control this drone in any way you want and be able to change any of the settings in it. Now, DJI does allow some changing of settings when it comes to, like, let's say the Mavic or the original Mavic. You can go into the EXP and the sensitivity and be able to change how it flies, but only so much. You can't have full control over the rotors. And also, if you guys remember, the progression of the sensitivity of the sensors of like the object avoidance system has gone from very, very, you got to be flying really slow for us to be able to stop this thing, to recently, like with the Mavic Air 2, like you can fly the thing almost full speed outside of sport mode and it still can stop itself with the object avoidance. So that's up to about 40 miles an hour. So we're looking at most FPV drones are flying up to, on average, somewhere between 60 and 80, up to 100 miles an hour normally, or maybe even more. But that's obviously illegal. Nobody ever does that, right?
99.9.
Yeah, that's as fast as anyone's ever going to go. 99.9. But that's actually a question I have is like, what can these object avoidance systems do? And I imagine there's probably going to be some kind of beginner mode. And even more so, like liability-wise, like giving a bunch of consumers a ready-to-fly FPV system is quite dangerous. as you can speak to. Like, what's people's normal first flight like on an FPV system?
Yeah, it usually goes up and right back down. But, like you said, DJI has gotten really good with this object, collision avoidance. I did read also, I think they're saying that there's 3 different modes. So on a normal drone, you have what is it called, tripod mode and...
Tripod mode, P mode, which is like a GPS positioning system, and then sport mode.
Okay, so... would you want a tripod mode with the FPV?
I would imagine the first one would probably be like a beginner's flight mode that I wouldn't call tripod mode, but more so like it gives you the stable, kind of like what you have now on FPV systems.
Okay.
It's like you can have the stabilized mode, you can have like semi-acro full mode where it like might not go upside down, but it'll give you like full tilt.
Yeah.
And then you have full acro mode. It's probably what I would hope they would do, because that would be mirroring what we kind of already have.
But doesn't that take away like what FPV, like the best part of it, and
well, the full acro is the best part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, we can still have it, right?
I mean, I don't know. 3 modes.
The third mode could be acro, okay. Beginner, intermediate, acro.
I'm very interested to see. I can't wait to fly it myself, to be honest. But I know that it's going to be crashed, and
yes.
Who knows about where you're going to be able to buy extra parts for it or
fix it.
How
who's going to
difficult
fix
it is. What is it now? You crash a drone. It never happens, I know.
I never have done that before, yeah.
Well, in theory, how would you go about getting it fixed?
Yeah, because now, like, one of the main things about FPV pilots, and the reason why it's so hard, there's such a high barrier of entry for FPV flying, is because, well, you fly, you crash it, you got to be able to fix it. Or have a lot of money just to keep paying someone else to fix it. And most FPV pilots that I know, please correct me if I'm wrong, they know how to fix their drones. Like, they have to know how to, because you're gonna crash it.
Build, crash, repair.
That's part of the system. And that's not part of the system as a cinematic pilot. That is not what we do. Like, we fly it and we do not crash it by any means necessary. And if we do, we don't normally try to fix it unless it's like, okay, let me just pop this back in place. For the most part, it sends it off to DJI. And DJI's repair system, or their specialty care, is shifty. Like, sometimes they do a really good job. I give it to them. Sometimes they do a really good job. Other times, you just send your drone into the black hole and good luck.
I hope they're prepared logistically to deal with the
maybe that's why they've taken
of it.
Well, maybe that's why they've taken so long.
Maybe,
we don't know.
Maybe. It comes with a radio itself too, and it looks like the only bundle that we've seen so far is the goggles, the radio, and the drone. I don't know how many extra batteries it comes with.
It's funny that you say batteries, because one of my biggest beefs with FPV flying is the battery system. Is you actually have to have a whole separate reader for the batteries to understand where they are.
See, that's one of my biggest beefs with DJI, is like their batteries are too expensive. It's way
that's
too
what's going to
heavy,
happen here, though.
it's
They're gonna give us batteries that are gonna probably not to be too heavy, but they're also probably gonna have the little light reading where you can just press it and it'll tell you if it's full or not. I don't have to have a whole nother thing or connect it to the drone to be able to know the difference in voltage, to know that, oh, the voltage has decreased from 7 to 5. It's empty. I'm like, or it could just say full or empty. I don't know about you.
The more you know, the more you know.
That you don't need to know. I don't need to be an electrician to fly a drone. Unless it's FPV
I will
drone.
say this: if you plug in your battery and you see one cell is way lower than the others, you know that the integrity of that battery is not the same as your others. And
DJI batteries are really good at telling you that ahead of time. As soon as you put it into the drone, it'll say, don't use this battery. Or you can just press the button and it'll just blink. And it'll be like, there's something wrong with this. It's blinking like it normally doesn't. Let me actually look into research. Or I can just get a standard LiPo battery that doesn't tell you anything. It just blows up.
I hear you. No, hey, don't put that evil on us, man. What are you talking about? I haven't seen one blow up in a while.
In a while. I've never seen a DJI battery.
It's always from abuse or slamming right into concrete full speed or something like that.
I'll take that.
So, yeah. But of course, they are dangerous. It is probably the most dangerous part about FPV is charging, storing, dealing with these batteries. So I will give you that.
I hope they do it.
I know they're going to, but how much are they going to be? And
it's worth the cost for me. I'll pay for convenience, bro.
See, this is just the two sides of the coin right here.
I will pay for convenience, DJI, just so you know. If you make the battery system and the FPV system easy for me, I will pay you for that. That is where I'm at. As a drone cinematographer, I will pay you to make my life simple, and I don't have to be an electrician and learn how to build a drone to be able to fly one. So thank you if that's what you're doing.
Well, it really does seem like that's what they're doing. This is going to be aimed towards the consumer and the prosumer. But where is the line of what you need a normal FPV drone versus this?
I think it's going to be the trick flying, like getting into like really tight spaces,
Yeah.
because like this one's going to be too expensive to be like, let's risk it all, and something that maybe even you couldn't fix because DJI overcomplicated it. You know,
Well,
we'll see.
that's another thing. I don't know if I had a Mavic that was broken in front of me. I know how to fix all my drones and do stuff that I never thought I would know how to fix, but I would be completely lost because it's so closed system with Mavics and all of that. So it's a totally different world, and I'm really happy that they are making something that's it's obviously going to bring more people into FPV and get the word out about FPV a lot more. But I don't know how much of a useful tool it's going to be for us where we are in FPV, right?
We had our predictions. He said, what was the prediction for price again?
I would say anywhere between 1,000 and 1,400. I think there's been some pretty hard speculations and some numbers thrown out. And
800. I'm saying $800.
800? Are we playing
I'm gonna say-
the prices right?
Yeah, yeah,
right
we're
now?
playing. I'm
Okay.
playing. I'm saying it's going to be around $800 for the
right.
not fly more kit, because they're going to probably do a fly more kit or whatever. But I'm going to say it's going to be $800 to come with one battery and the controller and the FPV system. That's how much the base rate is going to be. And then for to get the fly more, it'll probably get to about 1,000.
Well, I think right now the FPV system that we have is 1,000 or something.
Is it?
It's right under 1,000 with.
Oh.
Of course, you have 2 air units and the fly more, the experience.
Oh, we
I
can
don't
just
know.
cut that part. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, no, it's on there. Yeah. I don't know what the bet is, but we
Yeah,
definitely
whatever.
got to put a bet in there. So, in this picture that we looked at, I at first thought there was going to be like a fixed FPV camera, and then the secondary camera would be something like the Mavic that you can fully control. Seems like we've learned a little bit different now. There's only one camera; it all goes through there. But the top of the fuselage, the whole thing is just very aerodynamic.
Yeah,
looking,
it looks like
and-
it's going to swim.
yeah, what is that, airfoil or whatever? It looks amazing on that front. I'm glad that someone's building something that's based around that. I don't know how much it matters or not, but it definitely looks cool.
Yeah.
But the top, it's got like this grill, and I guess it's feeding air into the closed system completely.
Yeah.
And that's where, I mean, I don't, FPV is all about hitting gaps and everything. I mean, we talked about the obstacle avoidance and being able to turn it off, but that definitely changes the vertical clearance, and I think it could possibly create some problems. The FPV system that we have right now, very sensitive to overheating in certain ways and in certain setups, but closing it off, I mean, with one thing just
One
to
vent?
feed it air, I don't know. It's definitely interesting, and I can't wait to
I'm going to
see
keep it real. I trust DJI engineering. I don't want to, but I do. Like,
Just remember the snail. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, I remember the snail, but also remember what came next. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
the Phantom 2 sucked, but
They're
the Phantom 3 changed the world.
they're
The
confusing
Phantom 4
me,
is
man.
fantastic. All the Mavic systems are amazing. Like, pretty much they have not put out a bad drone in a very long time.
Yeah,
So-
I agree with you there. I do trust them too. I'm really excited for the small remote too.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks like a little gaming controller, so I'm in for that too. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Team Black Sheep Tango 2 has blown up this year. I think anyone that's using Crossfire, which is a long-range protocol that we use at FPV, they've switched to this little small controller that has everything built in, has snazzy buttons. It's like we can't keep them in stock over at Pyro. So, yeah, I'm very excited that a DJI system with hopefully the functionality out of the controller that we're using with the FPV system now into
Smaller.
that.
Yeah.
But then that opens up the question of these goggles are called the V2 goggles. If we look at a picture of them, they are the exact same mold as the V1, it seems.
And there's nothing really wrong with the V1s.
Well, of course, there's always room for improvement,
I knew he
you
was
know.
gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say that.
But I love them. I wouldn't fly anything else. Even if I'm using analog, I'm using an adapter that allows me to send analog signal to my DJI goggles. But with the V2, that brings up the question, like, what's going to be compatible with each other? Is people using the V1 systems like me, are they not going to be able to use this controller, or the V2 goggles not go with the air units?
Oh, you want to know if they're building, like, if you can just buy the separate things and be able to, like, mix and match the way that you can do almost everything in the FPV right now.
Day one, I will buy V2 goggles and the small little remote that's
I'll buy
based up.
the whole system.
But if
Make it
doesn't work-
convenient.
But if it's not going to work
gonna
with
work.
my drones, then
My drone will be the one that comes with it.
the one thing I do want out of the goggles is the ability to have the HDMI out.
Yeah, that's going to change our whole life on set.
Please,
Yeah.
DJI. Please.
Well, normally the better way to do that actually isn't on the goggles, it's on the controller. It's better to have something connected to your hands and to your face when it comes to like Video Village or something like that. And I get what you're saying, but normally the way, that's a whole different thing. So, but yeah, I'd rather have it come out of my hands than my face.
I feel what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with
So I don't want to have a wire come out of my face and literally my head's connected
I'm used to FPV. We're just wired everywhere. We got all kind of
But you're
stuff
connected to
happening.
yourself. You're not connected to like a monitor somewhere, you know?
Well, we have used ground stations in the past where it's like something that's stuck there and blah, 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 blah. But yes, it's not fun, and it's just done out of necessity more than anything.
All right, so there you guys have it. These are the thoughts by a FPV professional, Doc, a.k.a. Night Flyer, a.k.a. David the Homie. Yeah, that is the new nickname that actually happened today. That is part of his name.
I guess so.
But that's his thoughts on this. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Let's have a conversation in the comments. I promise you he'll be in there to argue, debate, or give you more insight on the things that he knows. I'll be there too, however useful I may be. As always, please go ahead, like, share, subscribe, do the things that make us know that you love us. Really appreciate that. And make sure, you as well, you guys stay fly.